for having me, guys. My name is Oliver, and I'm a recovered alcoholic and a drug addict. And it's a 45-minute share. That's a long share. I'm going to do my best. Today, I want to do a blend of stuff. Eric told me you can talk about God or whatever you want to do, your experience. And what I would like to talk to you about today is about the first three steps of the program. And I'm going to be trying to walk you through my experience with the three steps. We do a workshop every year in Big Book Awakening. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but we go very thoroughly through the book. And I've been blessed enough. I am originally from Mexico City, and I've been blessed enough to give this workshop for a few years now. And the miracles that I have seen in the eyes of people after taking the workshop is amazing. So if you ever hear it announced, I would highly recommend any of you that want to go through the steps thoroughly. It's a wonderful way to do it. All that we do there is that we turn all the statements in the book into questions, so it forces you to have an experience with the book. And I believe that the experience with the book, the solution that was written since 1939 still works today. I have seen miracles in my life. I'm one of them. So I'm going to start by the first step. And the first step for me, I heard what you guys read, and it's really important for all of us to understand. And for me, it was very important to understand that I am incredibly sick. You see, all my life, if you're like me, maybe you're going to be able to relate to this, but I always felt different, man. I always felt different than people around me, man. I always thought that I was oversensitive. I always thought that I overthought things. Life was very difficult for me. I always liked to do things in excess. It was very difficult for me all my life to find equilibrium. My life has never been stable. I'm the type of guy that in the morning wakes up with great ideas and wants to eat the world up, and then by the afternoon, man, I want to kill myself. I'm not exaggerating. That's the story of my life. So that was before I drank. I'm talking to you when I was very, very, very young. You see, so this thing that lives inside of me, that's my disease. You see, when I came to AA the first time, I thought that just by quitting drinking and drugging, I would be okay. The life would, for the first time in my life, will make sense. But unfortunately for me is that when I stopped drinking and drugging, man, life got really shitty, really difficult, man. The problems really start to appear. You see, problems when you're high, at least when I was high, when I was using drugs, they were very easy to solve because you know something, alcohol and drugs, they do work. They do add added value in my life. For me, those crutches worked for many, many, many years. It solved my insecurity. It solved my insufficiency. It solved my low self-esteem. It solved all my fears. You see, it truly gave me service. You see, the book talks about God over and over and over, and we read the 9-step promises in a lot of meetings around the country. You see, and those promises, those are the promises that I felt when I was high, guys. If you go back and you read the 9-step promises, when I used to drink and use drugs, that's exactly how I felt. So for me, drugs and alcohol were never my problem. They were always my solution. I was born unmanageable. And this is a very important point that I want to make to you guys. It's not that my life became unmanageable because I used. I was born unmanageable. I was born with this condition that today I understand it to be called the spiritual malady, right? It's an existential void that I have always carried with me. Doesn't matter what I did. You see, people told me if you reach success, if you get married, if you get kids, if you are successful, if you're popular, if you have friends, life is going to make sense to you. You're finally going to be happy. And guess what? I was fortunate enough to do it all. I was incredibly successful in business. I have two wonderful, beautiful kids, man, the light of my life, Jimena and Nicolas. I got married. My marriage wasn't that good, but I had it all. I had the house, I had the toys, I had everything. Success, I had big office, I had the assistants, I have everything, but that emptiness, that void, that spiritual malady stayed with me. Didn't matter how many dollars I put in it. It didn't matter how many drugs I put it in. It didn't matter how many relationships I put in it. The void was still there. So if that's the case in my life, what does alcohol and drugs have to do with it? And by that I mean is this. Alcohol and drugs are just a manifestation of my disease. Alcohol and drugs were the only things that let me be with you guys, amongst you guys, to feel one more of you guys. Without them, I feel like a Martian, man. So What's the problem with drugs and alcohol? For me, what was the problem? That the solution stopped working. You see, so every time I need to consume more and I need to do more of the same thing, more days of the week. In other words, I was high every day. And the solution stopped working. That's when my life was truly unmanageable. But what alcohol and drugs gave me for a long, long time was manageability of my life. It gave me power. You see, all my life I've been seeking power. Power to do what? To live my life. Not to stop drinking, not to stop drugging, to be able to understand the world and to be able to live within myself. You see, the worst critic that I have in my life is me. My worst punisher, it's me. You guys haven't done anything to me. Life hasn't done anything to me. I am the one that punishes myself every day. But it's been like that all my life. It has nothing to do with me using. That was before using. So I'm trying to tell you who I was before I used. So then when my solution stopped working, man, I was truly in a really, really, really dark place. And that's the gift of desperation, because I didn't know what else to do. So this is very important for me to tell you, because I'm the type of guy, I tried everything. For me, surrendering was very, very, very hard because I didn't believe in quitting. I didn't believe in surrendering. I'm a male, I'm a man, I'm a Latin American man from Mexico. You don't quit. You don't bitch, you don't moan. You just walk through it, man. You're a man. You have to be hard. So for me, in order for me to surrender was very, very, very difficult. You see, so I defended that illusion that I was somebody that I was not all my life, man, and it almost cost my life. So I'm telling you all of this because I tried everything. I used everything in my power to be able to live my life, not to stop drugs, to live my life, to be a good father, to be a good friend, to be a good person, man. I did it all. I have traveled, I have done everything the world has to offer. I have been fortunate enough to do it. And the desperation to see and to feel that after you have done everything in your power, your greatest ideas, all my plans, fail. To be sitting in the closet of my house after I declared bankruptcy and lost everything in my life worthwhile having. I got divorced, I lost all my fortune, I lost my job, I had to reinvent myself again. My father died at the same time. My kids didn't want to be around me. When I found myself in my closet with a gun in my mouth, man, the idea was so sweet for me to kill myself. If you've ever been in that dark place, you understand what I'm talking to you about. Because at that time, the best idea, it appeared to be to kill myself because I couldn't handle it anymore. I was at the end of my rope. I was at the end of my power. I was truly desperate. I didn't have any more answers, any more solutions. That's what powerlessness is. I'm going to repeat it. That's what being powerless is. It's not just that I don't have power to stop drinking. I don't have power to live my life. I am done. I am spent. Everything that I thought I could try, I tried, and it wasn't enough. So then I truly believed, I truly got to know what powerlessness was and true unmanageability was. That's the first step of AA. That's what I needed to do in order for me to truly grasp my first step. I am powerless to live my life. My life was and is unmanageable. Lack of power is my dilemma. I have always tried to gain that power to be able to live my life, and I failed. So when you're in that darkness, when you are, it's a very lonely place, a very dark place, I was lost. Then I reached for this solution with all I got. You could have told me to do whatever the hell I needed to do, and I was able to do it because I couldn't do it by myself. I needed to understand that I did everything, that God allowed me to do everything I wanted. Everything that happened in my life, nobody took anything away from me, man. I took it all away from my own self. I destroyed it all on my own. That's what first step is. So my dilemma, when first I accepted that, number one. Number two, I had to accept that I'm not like everybody else. The alcoholic, the drug addict, there has to, this illusion that I have in my brain that tells me that I am like everybody else has to disappear. I am not. I don't perceive the world like everybody else. I don't feel like everybody else. I don't get information through my eyes the same way that a normal guy does. I cannot handle life just the way that my brother handles it, per se. I am different. And I am different not only with drugs and alcohol. And this is very important because a lot of people think, and for the newcomers that are here, all of you guys that raise your hands, stop quitting. Quitting and stopping is very important. There's no recovery without abstinence. But what's your real problem? What is it that alcohol has been treating all those years? Why the pain? Not why the addiction, why the pain, why the trauma? What is it that you've been trying to hide all your life behind drugs? So you see, now I know that I am a different person. I know that the solutions that normal people can get in motivation books, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, Tony Robbins, all the great stuff that it's out there for motivation and to create great personalities and to create winners and to create all this, it's not enough for me, man. It doesn't have enough weight and depth and weight. It just doesn't. Because it's like trying to patch my problems. So knowing that I was different, I still remained with the same problem I was born with. I needed power. Isn't that why we use drugs, man? I mean, think about it, man. I was in love with drugs and alcohol because the only thing that permitted me to be present. Every time I was high, I was right here and now. I was present. And it gave me a perceived power that even though it was fake for me, it was so real. But that solution is gone, man. You remain naked with nothing. That's true desperation. So what the hell do I do from here, man? And my sponsor and people that love me, Oliver, you need to surrender. Surrender to what? And I'm going to read a few things from the book in the chapter of the agnostics. It says, the first paragraph, it says, in the preceding chapters, you have learned something about alcoholism. We hope we have made clear the distinction between the alcoholic and the non-alcoholic. If when you honestly want to, you find you cannot quit entirely, or if when you drink, you have little control over the amount you take, you are probably an alcoholic. If that be the case, you may be suffering from an illness which only a spiritual experience will conquer. This is what truly threw me off, man. Blew my mind. Because it's a wonderful and beautiful promise. There is a spiritual solution for my malady. But how in the hell do I get that? Where is that? I was raised a Catholic, man. I went to church every Friday in my school. You know, I hated priests. I hated the church. I couldn't fathom going to church and give to that God all my life. You see, but the book's telling me that the only thing that I have to give me the power that I need to live my life is in a spiritual experience. What the hell is that? You see, and that's the beginning of the second step. And I went through a very dark time in my sobriety. The first 2 years of my sobriety was a constant battle with me and God. And by that I mean I wanted to understand God with my intellect, with my rationale, with my mind. So I read a bunch of books. I tried to follow a bunch of gurus. I talked to pastors. I talked to priests. But the solution was that the needed power was not there. And then there's another paragraph that I want to read to you, and it says on page 53. They say, when we became alcoholics, crushed by a self-imposed crisis, we could not postpone or evade. We had to fearlessly face the proposition that either God is everything or else he is nothing. God either is or he isn't. What was my choice to be? I arrived at this point, I was squarely confronted with the question of faith. What does faith mean to me today? How can I explain faith? This is how I do it in my workshops. You see, all of us are sitting in our homes or in our offices or wherever you guys are. Who among you can explain to me exactly how it is that you can see my face and hear my words through your computer? How many of us depend on our iPhone with our lives? We need the iPhone to do everything, or the Samsung, whatever phone you have, every smartphone out there. If you want to know how your kids are, if you're a dad, if you're lucky enough to be a dad and you're lucky enough that your kids talk to you, if you want to check on them, you send them a text. For all of you codependents, I'm a codependent as well. If you have a boyfriend or you have a girlfriend and you use text or WhatsApp and you send them a text, how long does it take you to check those two little thingies that come down there to see if it was read or received? The two check marks in WhatsApp. You see, how much do you understand of that technology? Can you see the words traveling through space, getting to the other phone? I mean, imagine how many words are traveling throughout the space, man. It's the TV, or the words from your texts, or the calls from your calls. I mean, it's cable TV, it's everything. I depend on that. You see, when I send that text to my girlfriend and she does not answer me, I doubt her intentions. I never doubt the technology. I grow resentful, man. I call my sponsor, she doesn't love me anymore, man. When she finally answers me, I said, what the hell was wrong with you? Where were you, man? But it never occurred to me to doubt the technology. So how much faith do I have in WhatsApp? Any of you get paychecks? Whomever get paychecks and those paychecks get deposited, you never see the money, man. It's a number in your account. How much do you depend on your boss for him to deposit your checks? And you already make plans. You have a budget for the whole month. I'm going to receive $5,000 at the beginning of the month. I'm going to pay my rent, my cell phone, my car payment, my insurance. Do you ever doubt that? You depend on that. Easy. When you turn on the light, every time you turn on the switch, you think if it's going to come up or not. When you turn on the hot water. So in other words, how much do I depend already and live my life based on faith? Not half-assed faith, 100% full-blown faith, without understanding any of the technologies that I depend on and that I have faith on. But when Alcoholics Anonymous comes to me and gives me this very beautiful idea that there is a creator, there is a God that created the universe, the world, the iPhone, and all the technologies that I depend on, that he's going to be taking care of my problem, I start to bitch and complain. I can give my whole life to Apple computers, to WhatsApp, to the TV, to the cable company, to the electricity company. But when they talk to me about God, even though I don't understand God, and I don't understand God today, as I don't understand WhatsApp or what's happening right now in Zoom, but I depend on both equally. I was invited over a text to come and share with you today, and I am sharing with you in my office. You guys are on the East Coast, man. I'm in San Diego. So that's what faith is. That's what I needed to understand faith was. Faith is nothing other than just trying to give it a chance, a shot, just like I give it every day to technology. The God of Alcoholics Anonymous, the God of this program, it's a personal God. It's a God that wants to heal you, that wants to love you, that wants to hug you, that wants to take the obsession away from you. It's a God that's going to take care of your finances, of your relationships, of your anxiety, of your trauma. It's a God that is going to truly work in your life. Why don't you give it a chance? You see, faith is the result of an action. If you stay sitting on your couch, praying all day long, I don't care how many rosaries you pray, your knees are going to be bleeding of how much kneeling you're going to make. If you stay home and you don't go out there and live your life, how in the hell are you going to know that God exists? You see, faith is a result of an action. God, I'm so afraid of going to work. Can you please come with me? See what's behind that prayer. God, this is the job that I've been wanting all my life. If it's your will, please let me have it. I have to have 3 interviews this week. Please come with each one of them with me and see what happens. My wife doesn't forgive me. My kids don't forgive me. My neighbor can't stand me. God, please help me and have their heart heal. Ask whatever the hell you want, but you have to follow it up with an action. Just like an iPhone. If you buy the biggest TV you can find tomorrow in Costco, and if you don't connect it to power, you're just going to see a blank screen for the rest of your life. You have to connect that TV to power. And that power has to go through your TV so you can turn it on and see what the beautiful things that come in your TV. Same thing with your life. How do you know God does not exist if you don't give him a chance to work in your life? But you see, this has nothing to do with prayer. This has to do with living action, with prayer and then an action after that. You see, and that's where I want to tie in the 3rd step. The only thing that the 2nd step is asking us for the new guys is just to be willing, like Oliver says, to see if God works as good as the iPhone. That's what I want you to do now. Don't understand who God is. Where does he come from? If he made the universe or not. Who gives a shit? Just try to use it as a new technology. Let's see if this iPhone works. I'm gonna use God 7.0 tomorrow. I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna ask him to come with me to work. And to help me not to be resentful with my boss, to be compassionate. Whatever you want to ask him. But truly, truly, truly give it a shot. And just have an open mind and think that maybe, just maybe, that God will work in your life. If you do it long enough, the doubt will disappear. The difference between belief and faith, let me tell you what it is. If I move to New York tomorrow, and I bring my car with me, and my car breaks down, right? I don't know if, Eric, are you from New York or where are you from, Eric?
Princeton, New Jersey. Spent a number of years in New York, though.
Well, okay, New York. Then I go to work and I say, listen, man, my car broke down. Do you know of a good mechanic? Eric is going to steer me to a great mechanic. Hey, Oliver, go with Chris. He's wonderful. He's been fixing my cars all my life. Perfect. Thank you, Eric. I go to Chris, and he fixes my car wonderfully. The following year, my car breaks down again in New York. Do you think I'm going to go to Eric or I'm going to go to Chris? I believed in Eric, but today I have faith that Chris is going to be able to fix my car. But I needed to go to Chris before. So Eric, for all of us, is your sponsor. What Oliver is telling you is to go to this mechanic. Go and take your car. And see what the mechanic does with your heart. See what the mechanic does with your brain. With that you tell yourself every day that you're not good enough. If you're afraid of failure, if you're afraid of success, if you're afraid of being alone, if you're afraid of being rejected, not respected, abandoned, whatever your issue is, take it to the mechanic. I've been going to the mechanic for a while, and the guy does a good job. So take your problems to the mechanic. And when you see the mechanic solving your problems, then you will no longer need Oliver, or Chris, or Eric, or anybody. You will go directly to him, knowing that he fixed your issue. But you see, there has to be an action. If there's no action and you're sitting down just thinking or asking God to talk to you, God, I did this for a long time. God, please send me a message. Please talk to me, because I was terrified of going outside and live my life. I couldn't go to work, man. I destroyed all my wealth. I was an incredibly successful broker, just like Bill. And I lost all my money. I lost all my career. I broke everything. I made so many stupid decisions because I was high that I didn't have any self-esteem, any self-respect, any self-love. I didn't have any guts to go to the office, as simple as going to work. So I had to take my heart, my broken heart, to go to that mechanic and say, God, please heal that. Because I can't, I'm terrified. Help me walk to this interview. Help me try to close this deal. Help me through the day. And guess what? The mechanic did it once, twice, 3 times. Today, the mechanic and me, we have coffee every day, man. That's how personal my God is. And the beautiful thing about the mechanic is that I can cuss at him. I can send him to hell. I can never pay him. I can betray him. And guess what? He will always fix my car. Because he doesn't need anything from me. The only thing he needs for me to do is to bring my car to him, my heart to him, my problem to him, my addiction to him, my powerlessness to him, my unmanageability to him. Oh man, all you newcomers, anybody that is stuck in this step, if you can just listen to what I'm saying and get a little bit of courage, and tomorrow try to live your life this way. You don't have to live alone. There's a beautiful, wonderful God, a huge power out there, the universe, whatever you want to call it. My power is Christ. That's mine. If you want me to talk to you about my mechanic, my power, it'd be my pleasure, man. Please select my phone number from Eric, and I will talk about him forever, because that's the topic that I like the most. Because he saved my life. So just be willing, have an open mind. Just have a little belief that maybe that mechanic can fix your heart. And then we go to the third step. This is where the action begins. And in reality, the third step, the only thing that it is a decision. These 3 steps, you can do them in the comfort of your couch. You don't have to go out there and do, well, no, you have to do something to get some faith. But what does the third step say? It says, made a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand Him. This is something very important. My God is mine. I share it. I don't have a problem sharing it, but it doesn't have to be mine. AA doesn't have a monopoly on God. I think that's what was the brilliance of this program, if you ask me. You see, because if you see the story about where the Big Book comes from, it comes from the Oxford groups, which is a Christian movement. But the Big Book never imposes any God. No dogma. Pick your own. This is what I tell my guys when we're doing the workshops, when I work with my sponsees. I ask them to do a letter of exactly how they want their God to be. Whatever is in your imagination, He can be whomever you want Him to be. If not, He'll be a very little God. Your own conception of God is sufficient. If you don't have the understanding, the dogma, if people are throwing to you scripture or spiritual knowledge, send them all to hell, man. You don't need that. You'll gain that in the future. But it's not important today. Remember, it's a mechanic. It's your friend. Unconditional friend. So when the Big Book is asking you to turn, what does the Big Book mean? Turn what? I'm going to give you the same analogy I tell all my people in BBA. All my life, I have walked with the North. I know what's in the North. I know there's drug addiction. I know there's alcoholism. I know there's codependency. I know there's manipulation. I know there's fear. I know there's conniving. I know there's lying. I know everything, man. I've been walking North my whole life. I'm sorry for the language. I'm going to say one bad word. Smells like shit. It's warm. It must be home. Isn't that how we live? Doesn't matter how shitty our life is because we know it. We think we control it. We know the way. So I know exactly what's going to be in North. So the only thing that the third step is asking me is to start walking south, to turn. And start walking south. What's in the south? I don't know. That's the hard part of South. One thing I can tell you that in South there's so many things. If you start walking south, you're going to find fear, doubt, anxiety, uncertainty. I guarantee you, man, it's full of it. It's also full of love, opportunity, success, worthiness, self-love, magic, dreams, presence, unconditional love. But the problem is that I'm asking you to start walking in the direction that you have never walked on. You see, if I drop you off today in China and Hong Kong, if you've never been in Hong Kong, you don't speak Chinese, how afraid are you going to be? You're going to be incredibly afraid. You don't know where you're at. You don't know the language. You don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. You don't know nothing. But you don't have a choice. You're in China. You have to do something in order for you to survive in China. What are you going to do? Get shit-faced? Bitch and complain that you're afraid? And start to then on the streets? I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to do your best to keep on walking south. So what I'm trying to say is this. People think, and this is something that I have to share because this is what happened to me when I did the third step prayer. When I got on my knees with my sponsor, and they say all these wonderful things happen, that people see fireworks and they see this white light and all this beautiful spiritual awakening. So guess what? When I did my third step, I didn't feel anything. It was as horrible as it was the day before, even worse, because nothing happened. There was no fireworks. Until I had the blessing of having a sponsor that told me, Oliver, the third step means that you're going to start walking on faith. Remember the mechanic, remember the technology. You're going to have to start walking your life without knowing, without certainty, without control. And guess what? Some days you're going to be fearful. Some days you're going to be anxious. Some days you're going to feel like you're lost. As long as you don't turn back to go north and relapse, God is going to catch you on the other side. Because I'm not walking alone going north this time. I have God with me. But the problem is that God doesn't talk to us every day, man. I mean, sometimes you can see him whisper in your meditations, but wouldn't it be grand to have a phone number and just to call him up and say, God, I'm afraid. Am I doing okay? But we don't have that, man. It's an intuition when we get to God, we get to know God. In meditation and in prayer, sometimes there's people that tell you that God talks to them. So the only thing that the third step is that we have to walk in faith in a direction that we have never walked for or to. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. But that does not mean that you're not working your program, that you're taking control of your life again, that life sucks, that you're sick, that all the stuff that we hear in meetings, I took back control and I'm not working my program, okay? And man, all that negative talk, the only thing that does, it keeps you stuck in the same place. So I had to learn to be gentle with myself, to be compassionate with myself, and to say, my brother, like a little kid, you're going to learn how to live again. But the beautiful thing is that AA is telling me that I don't have to do this alone, that there's this power, this mechanic that is going to be walking with me, and every time I have an issue, I can call him up and he can help me. But I have to keep on walking north. And what's walking north? Finishing the rest of the 12 steps. That's the only thing for the newcomer that is asked from you. You don't have to understand God. You have to go to your meetings. But you just have to start walking in a different direction. It's going to be uncomfortable, man. You don't know that side of the country. You don't know that jungle. You don't know that desert. You don't know what's behind a bush. It's new. And it feels vulnerable, and it feels scary, and it feels anxiety, and it feels all these feelings that we hate to feel. You see, why did I use drugs? Because I don't like to feel. I love to feel happy. I love that. But everything else, man, feelings, man. But we need to learn how to start living with ourselves. So the third step, not to do that complicated, man. The book says that we have a new employer. If you're an employee, what does that mean to you? You depend on him for your paycheck. You depend on him for direction. You depend on him for promotion. Without that, you'll be lost at your job. Here's the principle where they're his agent. What does that mean? What does an agent do? I was an agent all my life. I was a broker. I was doing transactions on behalf of somebody else. You're doing transactions on behalf of God, of that power that made you. How powerful is that, man? How scary is that for all of you guys that don't know God? You mean that I have the power of God? Yes, you do. How would you know? Go out and figure it out. Take some risks. Bless some people. Do some service. Sponsor a guy or two. Be kind to your wife, to your kids, to your neighbors. Spread love and see what happens. That's what the third step is all about. We've been trying to be the actor, the director. We have been the main character of our lives, all our lives. How does that work for you, man? If you're in this meeting on a Sunday, man, it's because you don't have an idea on how to live your life. If not, you will be having fun someplace else, man. Why are you listening to a talking head telling you how to live your life? Because you can't on your own. That's why we're here. Because we're powerless. We need of each other, and we need of God in order for us to be able to have a decent life, to be able to be at peace. If you're like me, man, without that surrendering, without that letting go, without that being able to live in certainty, I go insane. It's really hard to live with me. Because I try to do things my way, and if they don't come my way, I get really frustrated. I start telling me how stupid I am, how incomplete I am, how insufficient I am, how dumb I am, how less than other people I am. You see, I'm a great manipulator. My friends used to call me the manipulator. I'm a great salesman. I love to get my way with people. Gets me high. I know how to cheat and lie. I'm good. I'm really good. But all that was walking south. They go north. I'm walking south now. So getting rid of control, something that I thought I had, but I never had it. Look at your life. How are you doing? You're in AA, my brother, my sister. You tried. For how many years? How did that work? We're not in an investment conference in a Sunday. We're in an AA meeting. We're not solving the world problems. We're solving our inner fucking demons that we have every day. How do I walk one more day in this earth without using and blowing my brains? You tried it hard. Remember everything you did. Put in a list everything you lost. how many businesses you screwed up, how many wives you went through, how much damage you did to your kids. I mean, all that will come with the steps. But you see, the third step is just to try a new way. Start walking in a new direction, living in faith, going to the mechanic every day and see how the mechanic fixes part of you, your heart, your brain, your body, your sleep. Shit, we have to take a nap? Well, mummies, I mean, today I have naps. I can take 30-minute naps. I couldn't stand still. I sleep 8 hours, brother. I can walk the streets and nobody's chasing me, man. Everything is okay. The trees are not FBI agents, brother. I mean, I'm okay. I get on a plane, my friend, and I don't have to take a Quaalude in order for me to be relaxed because I'm so afraid the plane is gonna fall. I don't give a shit, man. I'm with God. I'm walking hand in hand with the Creator. If He wants to take me, then I'm gone. It's up to, living a life of carefree. It's wonderful, man. It has great value. It's His responsibility to take care of your shit. It's no longer yours. You're not used to that, man. You love to manipulate. You like to control. You need to. You see, I never had relationships. I had hostages. If I walked into a room with 100 women, all of them 10s or 8s or whatever they were, I will pick the most screwed one of them all. Because if I could fix her, she will never leave me, you see. So she needed to be really screwed up, man, so I could truly control her, and then I would be safe. But you see, everything is about control, man. That's walking north. So invite all of you guys to just consider these technologies that the book talks about as technologies. Use them. Reading them is not sufficient. That's why I love the process that we do in Big Book Awakening so much. Because it forces us to have an experience with ourselves, with our spirituality, with our reality, with our bottom, with our lives, with who we are and who we are not. Today I know one thing: I am not God. I would love to be, so all you guys do whatever the hell I want you to do, but fuck, I tried and I failed. So I leave you with this. God is beautiful. God is opportunity. God is love. God is compassion. God is forgiveness. God is power. God is creation, success. Everything that you've been waiting for, it's in this step and the following 12. If all this God talk that I'm talking about you don't get, it's okay. Just don't leave and keep on doing the rest of the steps. The miracle will occur in one of them. For me, it wasn't until the 6th and 7th step. I couldn't feel God until I did my 5th step. Till I couldn't forgive myself. Till I couldn't feel compassion for me, to see how sick I was, how lonely I was, how desperate of your love and your approval I was. So give it a chance. It's a good mechanic. My name is Oliver and I'm an alcoholic. Thank you, Eric, for letting me share.